Hey everyone, it is Dave. Welcome in. It's time for modules 11 and 12. This week in module 11, we have kind of a weird kind of setup because we've got a lecture on ancient Egypt, which is really cool, but we've also got a documentary on minimalist art from the 1950s. So I don't know how those got put together, but they did. Those are the two topics we're covering this week. Next week, module 12, we're going to be covering architecture and, again, kind of ancient and modern. So maybe that's why I grouped them together. As always, in our very first week, module 11, we have a discussion board that'll be finished in module 12, as well as you'll find the quiz in module 12 that covers ancient and modern architecture, as well as the documentary on Herb and Dorothy, and finally, ancient Egypt. One last thing, in module 12, there is one final assignment to do that is not a discussion board nor a quiz, but it is the third and last of our projects for the semester. So that is embedded there, and then I'll give you an update on the due dates and things like that as we go to the Canvas site. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, here we are on the Canvas site. Yeah, as you can see, we just have a few more modules left, and we're going to be done with the semester. This week, we are in module 11, and of course, we have our usual setup where the video's up top. We've got our introduction. We have a link to my office hours, the two lectures this week, Ancient Egypt, study guide, and then the further exploration section is unlike any other further exploration section. I just piled stuff in here. So if you're interested in an NPR radio program about the hidden chambers behind King Tut's tomb, there's a great episode there. I think that's about 10 minutes or so. The pictorial necklace, a must watch. Akhenaten and his family. We have this kind of ancient aliens video. This is one of the people who have a different type of focus on Egypt. But Brian Forrester takes us around the Great Pyramids, and as you can see, into one of them. This is really cool because you actually get to see scale-wise how incredibly large these objects are. If you are from the 80s, like myself, of course you cannot miss Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles. If you're from the 70s and Saturday Night Live, Steve Martin's King Tut. Another must-watch is the mummification process here. The mummification wrap is a lot of fun. In Search of King Tut, great episode, again from the 70s. Graham Hancock's lecture on the Book of the Dead. A lot of people are interested in that subject. And also a documentary on the pharaohs here. There are some, I think, commercials early on, but 4 minutes in, that's when the documentary begins. Back out to the documentary itself for this week is Herb and Dorothy. Herb and Dorothy are a couple based in New York, and they buy all sorts of minimalist art because they can't afford anything else. And in the 1950s, minimalist art was cool, but it wasn't popular. So what's great about this film is that they interview people who become very famous, people like Christo and Jean-Claude that you see right here. So as you can kind of see, give the documentary a few seconds or so to load, and I hope you enjoy it. It's really cool, and I do suggest watching it in two parts. As far as the movie guide goes, this is important because this is going to be journal entry number 11. Further exploration, there is a second Herb and Dorothy movie. I have not seen it. There's just the trailer here for it. And for our discussion board, that's going to be centered on ancient Egypt. What I'd like you to do is share your most favorite work of Egyptian art, or if you don't have one, maybe you're interested in learning more about a specific work. So you want to add a picture and then give some information in a paragraph below it. Things like where you first learned about it, what draws you to it, what is it made from, when was it found, things like that. Of course, we always want to comment on one other group member's choice. You get 16 points for the post, 4 points for the response. You all know how to upload an image, but just in case, there's the information. And here's a past student example. And that is it for module number 11. Again, the journal entry this week is submitting your movie guide for that. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about module 12 now. So we'll close module 11, get that out of the way. Module 12, again, the same suspects up top. This time we're in ancient architecture, the lecture, study guide, and further exploration section. Here we have the orders of Greek architecture and the Pantheon, and so not a whole lot of further exploration material. For modern architecture, we've got the video, your study guide, and further exploration here. Again, a little limited, but we've got a video of falling water. You can't take a video inside the building, but this is the outside landscape. I also have a link to the Falling Water website, which is really cool, and I'm going to show you something real quick. Unfortunately, I'm recording this now at night, so it's not going to be as super cool, but Falling Water has a Falling Water camera, and you can just click on it, and you can see the live building. Now, at night, obviously you can't see anything, but during the day, that's when all the people are cruising around, because this is a popular tourist attraction. So again, come back during the day, watch that. It's very, very cool. And it has a great website and all. It has a Facebook page. They post all the time, and especially with all the upkeep that this home needs. This stall house is one of the case study houses you'll learn about in the lecture, and then a list of all the case study houses around Los Angeles that you can go and drive by. A couple of them are on tour. And then let's see what else we have. We have the journal entry. The journal here has you reading this article from Scientific America, and you're going to answer the 3 questions below. And in your journal, if you could please number them 1, 2, 3, or leave spaces between the paragraphs, that would be absolutely perfect. We have our usual quiz. Remember, the quiz covers ancient Egypt, Herb and Dorothy, ancient and modern architecture. So those 4 sections comprise the 20 points. And we have one last project to do for this semester. Keep in mind that we will, as usual, have a discussion board, quiz, discussion board, quiz, and that's how we're going to finish out the semester. But this is something, the last project beyond that, we of course have the journals to turn in. But for modern architecture, what I'm going to have you do is do a little bit more intensive research on one particular building that you would like to write about. It's up to you. You cannot use anything from the lecture nor anything from the study guides or examples, things like that. But keep in mind, for a building to be modern, it has to be created between these 2 years, 1850s and 1950s. Constructed using the skeleton and skin system, which we'll talk about in the lecture. It must also be made with modern materials, glass, concrete, steel. Now, if you have a building that has arches and domes and shell system, that is not a quote-unquote modern building. Please keep in mind there are many modern buildings all over the place, including Fullerton, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Japan, Brazil, Mexico. Everywhere there are modern buildings. You are not limited in terms of geography. You are also not limited to single-family residences. There are commercial structures, airports, libraries, federal buildings that are modern. You're going to fill out the modern architecture worksheet. I'll show you that in just a moment. And then we have the examples. These 5, they're fantastic examples. You can see how the student fills out the worksheet. And then this project is worth 30 points. I did expand the due date by 1 week and also the late date by 1 week. So you have until the 24th of November really to turn this in. For the modern architecture worksheet, Tells you all the rules of what is a modern architecture structure. You're going to include a picture, or you can include a couple of pictures here of the building. Question 2 asks about all the facts, the name, the location, when was it constructed. Question 3 deals with the architects. Question 4, the major construction materials. Question 5, what makes this building modern? Question 6, why did you choose this building? And question 7, you're looking for 3 academic sources that you used in your research. You don't really need more than 5 because it's just a short worksheet. So minimum 3, maximum 5, no Wikipedia because that's not academic level. And I'm going to show you one of, let's do the Guggenheim Museum. And we'll see how the student filled this out. So again, great picture up front. You can see that we have a gap between the question and the answer. Please do that. And sometimes people highlight one or the other or do different fonts. Again, that just helps me more quickly grade them and see your answers. This is a fantastic worksheet. I can tell already that it is worthy of an A. And what I'd like to also do, because this is a GE course and this is part of our writing requirement, I don't like to do lengthy research papers, but I would rather have us do these smaller projects. Keep in mind that I'm looking for about 25 to 30 lines of text in 10-point font. If you're using 12-point font, that's fine. Write a few more lines to meet our minimum requirement for writing for this class. So this is the rubric of how I'm going to grade. Your choice of building, as long as it's a modern building that wasn't in the lecture or examples, you get 5 points. Length of responses, again, I'm looking for roughly 25 to 30 lines total. Some of these questions are not going to have very long answers, such as, what is it made with? Well, glass, steel, concrete, things like that. Compared to, why did you choose this? That's going to be a longer paragraph. Or tell me about the architects. That's going to be a longer paragraph. So the paragraphs are not going to be equal to one another. The spelling and grammar. Is it college level spelling and grammar? 5 points for that. Content, 10 points. Source material, 5 points. And for that is a total of 30. I think that is everything now in our Module 12. If you have questions, of course, office hours every Monday and Wednesday, emails Monday through Friday, and I will be back shortly to guide you through Modules 13, 14 is fall recess, and 15.